Hey everybody, we are live. Welcome back to Equal Time Soccer. I'm Mark Pavratsky. I'm excited to have one of the leading scorers at the top of the WPSL Golden Boot race, Khyah Harper of Salvo SC. Welcome, Khyah.
Thank you.
We're excited to have you. Salvo's on a run. There's a lot of soccer going on right now in the summer. We have, the U.S. women's national team plays today, and then Minnesota Aurora had playoffs last night. Salvo, not to be outdone, is undefeated heading into the playoffs this weekend. Here's the last few scores. You are familiar, I'm sure, because you were scoring a lot of these goals. But you ended the season with 5-0, 3-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-1. Clearly you're rolling. What's working with this team that's making you find all those goals and win in the way you have this year?
I think having a lot of the girls from last year has really helped, us just all having the chemistry just from last year and then bringing it to this year. And then obviously all of our great players, like having Emily and Molly this year too, I think has helped a lot. Having
Mhm.
them coach us and tell us what we can do better, I think has helped us individually, which has helped the team overall too. So I just think our chemistry is there, and I don't know, we're all just great players, I think. So obviously that helps too.
Yeah, talk about having those pros. I mean, the players who toughed it out in Europe like
Mhm.
that. That is a cool thing. I mean, and it's obviously an opportunity for you all to keep testing yourselves. Also, it means because you have former Gophers, like that doesn't violate the rules. So you have so many Gophers on the squad when you
Yeah.
include them
Yeah.
in like seven.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have five and then Molly and Emily, so seven. Yeah.
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 It's exciting. Well, it's cool to see. Cool to see that they're able to have a good opportunity to keep in the game, and then probably look for potentially another option afterwards too. So, and I wanted to say when I let out those score lines, shout out to Manitou FC because they're the one team like they held you to a 1-0 win in the
Yeah.
opener. So for an expansion team from them, hats off to you. They were new this year. Sioux Falls City was new this year, and I know you played in Sioux Falls. I wanted to ask you about them because they've just been really, like forward looking and really public, and they're doing a lot of, I think, like community based works. It seems like they had a decent attendance. Talk about playing there. They played in a big stadium, and it seemed like had a few hundred fans. So I'm curious what that was like this year.
I think it was a really cool environment. I mean, obviously playing away kind of sucked, and the drive was 4 hours just
Yeah.
there. So that kind of sucked a little bit, but I think their environment was really cool. They actually had a lot of fans. The stadium was sick. And
Hmm.
I don't know, just because it was kind of oh, it's Sioux Falls, they're at the top of the league too. It was kind of
Hmm.
it was for us to clinch the league, I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah.
it was kind of a big game for us, and I think we kind of started out a little slow, but then the environment started going. Then our team was like, "Come on, let's pick it up here. This is not how we're playing." And then I think everything just came together. But it was a really cool environment, and the stadium was sick. So
Yeah, well, I have to imagine that's about as good of prep for being in the playoff run as you could have. And who knows if there'll even be a crowd like that in
yeah.
Denver, maybe. But to
Mhm.
have to play away and it wasn't vital to you catching up because it was competitive. I mean, MTA Sioux Falls was still in it late too as a new
Yep.
team, so yeah, there was a close race.
Mhm.
Talk about seeing that just like new teams added into the league seemingly, every year to the point where, you only had to play every team once because there were so many in your local region this year. And
Yeah.
just seeing, Aurora coming in for a bunch of players getting to play there. I mean, just talk about what it means to you as, for the women's game in the state to see just, continued growth and so much more attention year after year.
Yeah, I think it's great, especially Minnesota soccer. I just feel like we don't really get as much attention as the out east states or out west states, where it's
Mhm.
we're just the little Midwest here and there. And then seeing that
Yeah.
Minnesota now gets Aurora or Gopher soccer, for
Mhm.
and now St. Tommy, everything's coming together. And I think that that's bringing a lot of attention to Minnesota soccer, which is super nice to see because now there's more opportunities out there for
Mhm.
younger players and for even my age as well. So I
Mhm.
think that's really nice to see all of that coming together.
Yeah, I mean, young people must see the game, the way it's showing now, and it's
Mm.
just so cool to think of how many people are, it changes their dreams then of being involved in the game for sure. Talk about who you want to beat most in the WPSL. I mean, you played at the MTA growing up, So I
Yeah,
mean, I'm sure you have former teammates there, but I mean, who is it in the summer you wanted to beat the most?
for sure MTA probably, just because it's a lot of girls from my old club team, which
Yeah.
they were super good. So playing against them and playing with them was both like super fun. But especially since MTA clinched the league last year, we were like,
Mhm.
oh, we're coming out for like the league. Like we got to get this one. And then coming out with that win was super fun. But for sure, MTA.
Yeah. Well, it was great to get the win then. I mean, yeah, it's two teams that just usually are at the top of
Yeah.
the league and have been the last few years. So yeah, and a lot of old teammates, across a lot of different teams. Talk about how well you've done. I mean, we like to talk to you because you scored a ton of goals this summer, but your team has been just lights out on defense, only 3 goals against in 8 games. So just talk about what your team is doing well there. I mean, obviously, when you're attacking the way you are, I'm sure it keeps teams on the back foot. But what is it about your defense that has been so solid?
Yeah. I don't know. They're just so good. Like their chemistry back there, like they can just read each other super well and they're all super good individually. So I think that obviously that helps them. Like when you're playing with the stud next to you, it's obviously going to help you play better too.
Hmm.
And I think that having like the leadership from like Emily as the six helps like them stay organized back there and like who's on who and like man marking and just staying connected back there. But obviously they're all super good individually, so they're going to play super well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I mean, the other team you're playing this weekend, Colorado Rapids, similar to you in the sense of they've been really tough on defense as well. A little bit different offensively in that they don't have a player like you who's produced in double digits. But talk about how much with a quick season like this now going into playoffs, how much have you focused as a team on scouting the Colorado Rapids women, or how much, or do you just focus on what you need to do to be successful at Salvo?
Well, yesterday we had practice and we focused on like their press and like their key players a little bit.
Hmm.
But I think we mostly just got to bring our game because it's been working for every team that we played against, and we've played some pretty good teams. And I think that our team is super good
Hmm.
everywhere on the field. So I think just bringing our game and bringing our best game will help us a lot. But we have looked over them a little bit, but it's just about like their press because they have a high press, I think. So just like controlling it and just staying locked in, connected, and not getting beat on like a counter or something like that.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, the biggest challenge I would think, I mentioned this a bit before we went live. I mean, just hard for me to imagine. I mean, so there's multiple fronts of challenge for this playoff game. It's a 9 a.m. game, Mountain Time, so it'll be 10 a.m. for us, thankfully, tuning in to watch it, and we'll be covering it on equal time. So, but 9 a.m. First of all, talk about that. When's the last time you played a game at 9 a.m.?
Oh, I gotta say, probably club because
U10s, U12s?
yeah, for sure, that young, yeah, or like a showcase or something. But it has been forever.
I mean, obviously, you just like, what's the schedule for that? I'm sure you've thought about it as a team. Probably it's like you try to get to bed when, you try to wake
Yeah,
up by like 6 so you can maybe eat and warm up.
yeah, we have a little. We're flying out tomorrow at 2, so I think we're landing at like 3.
Hmm.
So we'll have like a little bit of the day, but I don't know, like the altitude's gonna be a factor, all of
That's
that.
the other thing. Yeah.
So I don't really know,
Have
but
you played, have you ever played at altitude, or I guess just visited altitude? Like I was in Wyoming a few years ago and it was like, I remember being almost a mile up and like, I noticed it. I noticed it for sure.
I think I played in Colorado one time with MTA, and you can definitely tell the difference a little bit. But I don't think it's too bad. I don't think that like both teams are playing in it, so
Yeah.
being affected by it the same.
Yeah, and then I mean, we don't get ahead of ourselves because we're not going to jinx anything. But then if you win, the reward is you play 24 hours later at 9 a.m.
Yep,
So
exactly.
back
Which
to back,
yeah,
back to
it
back is tough. But like, I mean, the back to back is certainly not any different for either team. But
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks to maybe just the depth in the team. I mean, because you haven't had to rotate in a game that tight in a place where you're playing at altitude. So I mean, maybe you'll have. Do you think you'll need to rotate, in a more aggressive way? And talk about the depth the team has to take that on.
Yeah, we have really good depth, I think. Like, we everywhere on the field, we have tons of subs that are just as good as the starters. So I think that really helps our game and will help our game in Colorado, especially since, like what we said, the depth and the altitude and whatever. But yeah, I think that we have a lot of good players that are coming off from the bench that bring the same energy and same like talent as the other players on the field. So I think that really helps our team.
Yeah, nice. And so everybody, I'm going to reiterate this just because we want people to watch the game. We're planning to do a pregame on Saturday before it on equal time with my co-host Liz Shendell. She's a part of the California Storm team who are also in the playoffs out in California. So we're going to do a little pregame. We're going to do highlights of the game. So people should tune in. I've watched a couple Salvo games this year, and it's been goals, Khyah. It's been goals. It's been, and a lot of time it's been Khyah scoring. So tune in. It'll be streamed on 11 Sports, and I'm going to do a quick ad read, and then we're going to dig into the Gophers a little bit because I know I'm starting to get excited for the Gopher season too. This week's episode is brought to you by Pence Homes. Pence Homes is a real estate team with Keller Williams. Matt personally has experience working with Nate and Lydia when he sold and bought his home last fall. Nate is a supporter of local soccer, including as an owner of Minnesota Aurora FC. Matt also enjoyed working with one of their preferred lenders, Angie Shearer, with Luminant Financing. If you have house questions, whether selling, buying, need a furniture for a person, shoot them a message at Pence Homes. All right. Thank you for that. Talking Gophers. So like we mentioned, there's 5 active Gophers on the team, which there's a limit in WPSL. You can only have so many from a team, which is, but like we said, you have the 2 former Gophers who are now, looking for their pro opportunities. So talk about, how cool it is to have all the Gopher presence on the team and just literally how the team benefits from having a chemistry of teammates like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's super fun, especially since like we have almost every position at the Gophers too. So I feel like that's going to help us in the upcoming fall.
Yeah.
But I think it's just so fun to like continue to play with them year round. And I think that having like Emily and Molly, who were Gopher alums, I think that really helps us because they get on our ass a little bit. But but I think I would rather have that than have someone that doesn't. But overall, playing all of them, all like the Gopher people, is super fun.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me excited. I'm excited to tune in and watch again. But like I said, it just makes you think about this upcoming year. You'll be in your sophomore season. Looking back, you played a lot. I mean, you were really present in the forward line. And just talk about what memories stand out to you from freshman year, jumping in and getting to play on the team you got to play on.
Yeah, I mean, at the start, was going really well, and I think our team was playing super well. And then I got hurt halfway through, which kind of sucked, which is kind of like my biggest memory from freshman year, which kind of sucks. But I don't know. I think obviously scoring my first goal versus Wyoming and the Gophers was key memory for sure of my freshman year, and especially scoring it about like 3 games in was super exciting.
Yeah.
But hopefully having a better sophomore year, but no injury, knock on wood.
I mean, I'm sure Aaron Chastain is paying attention. And it's never bad to see someone putting up double digits in 8 games. So I want to know. So I mean, obviously you play at the U with your sister Sadie, which is cool. There's another, and then we have the Brown sisters as well. Are you competitive with Sadie? You're 2 years different, but I mean, you're playing the same sport. Do you get competitive on the field about who's better at what? Is there a lot of bragging rights going on?
Oh, for sure. We are so competitive. We're like 2 years apart in school, but we're actually only 15 months apart.
Oh, okay.
Actually, like closer than we seem, but yeah, there's for sure a lot of competitiveness along with it. But there's also, we support each other a lot, and like all of that comes along. But yeah, for sure, there's a lot of stuff. She's obviously way faster than me, but I score more goals, so it's like back and forth bickering. But yeah, it's a good relationship for sure.
I was gonna say, since you are competitive, who's better at what? So you're saying she's faster. What do you have on her on the field, do you think?
I think my 1v1s are better than hers, but I don't know because she's so fast that she can just kick the ball past someone and just beat them. But I don't know. My go-to is just I score more goals than you, and then she just is like whatever.
Look, I mean, did I want to stir it up a little bit? Sure. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
we did. Look, but yeah, in good fun. But I mean, the competitive energy is good too because it makes you. Yeah, I definitely look. When I would play sports against Matt, it was very evenly matched. So
Oh,
it was very
and
hard to get an edge. Very
yeah,
hard to get an edge.
having that competitiveness like just helps us both get better overall like every year because it's like, oh, you want to go play soccer city, oh, let's do our workouts together, oh, let's do this together. So it's like
Right.
always having someone there too who will be on your butt too.
What do you have 2 other siblings, right? Do they play sports too?
Yeah, I have 2 younger brothers. One's a junior and one's gonna be a freshman, and they
Mm-hmm.
both play hockey and football.
Okay, they're
No,
just doing the
baseball.
boring the boring typical stuff. No soccer for them.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to get the hits in. All right. Well,
Yep.
yeah. Then they chose their path. I was gonna say if you ever played with them, but
Well, sometimes we make them be the goalkeepers
right.
or like a
Blast.
defender, but then they get sick of it after a while, and then they're like, no, it's boring.
Sounds like some good big sister stuff for sure. Talk about you committed the same time as your sister, but so for you academically, it was super early. I mean, recruitment happens young, especially women's soccer, especially, but you were before your freshman year of high school. I mean, so that I mean, I'm a huge Gopher fan too. If someone would offer me a scholarship to anything, I would have said, yeah, But talk
Yeah.
about doing that at a young age and with your sister.
Yeah, well, that was before the rule change when I
Yeah.
committed. That's why I got to commit so early. But I don't know. It was just me and Sadie have always wanted to go to the Gophers. We've always wanted to go to the same school. And then the U offered us like both really good scholarships. And then we were like, why
Hmm.
not take it? Like, I'm young. My mind isn't going to change. Like, I've always wanted to go to the Gophers. And like,
Hmm.
I think that they saw me at one showcase and then they were like, yeah, we'll take your sister too. And then we were like, okay, we're in. And that's it.
I love it. And I mean, hey, your parent, like you avoided a lot of years of dealing with all the mail and thinking about
Yeah.
visits. I mean, so
Yeah.
you both didn't even do other visits. You just got the U offer and we're good to go.
Sadie did a few other visits at other schools, but I really didn't do any. I
Yeah.
mean, I barely even talked to coaches. The only school that I really did talk to over the phone was the U of M. Like,
Hmm.
obviously, there's emails and stuff, but not very many, to be honest, just because I
Yeah.
was so.
Right. Well, good grab by the previous coaching staff. Now, Erin Chastain reaps the rewards having the Harper sisters. Talk about Erin as a coach. She came in really, it was pretty late last year. She came in, the preseason was, short. So she didn't have the lead in with you all and you didn't have the lead in with her. So just if like that coming off the first year with Erin, like how would you describe her as a coach?
I think our team really liked Erin. I mean, especially like we were all nervous because it's like, oh, new coach, like right
Mhm.
before our season, we don't really have to like have time to get to know her and stuff. But I think that Erin, how she like introduced herself and made us all feel comfortable right away was like a big part in like our team and like how we're so close and like how much respect we have for our coaching staff and especially Erin.
Mhm.
And I think that like everything that she does for us, like helping us stay connected, like volunteering, all this stuff, I think that that just like has brought our respect up for her and like wants us to like play for her more and like that's something that sometimes you don't see in college, I guess.
Mhm.
Like I don't know, I don't want to say it, but like coaches can ruin sports, but like Erin has definitely like brought our
Mhm.
team closer and like made us want to play for her more. So I think that's a big part of our team as well.
Yeah, well, it says a lot, and if it puts you in a better mental and emotional space too. I mean,
Yep.
you're right. I mean, coaches, when you're a D1 athlete, D2 even, D3 it's less so, but D2 is a lot as well. That they really control your whole schedule. I mean, and then they control, of course, what happens with you on the field. I mean, you have to play your part, but they can control it. So I mean, no, it's and at the same time you don't want to lose your scholarship or lose the opportunity, and so no, it could be a really tough thing, especially when it's not the coach that recruited you, so you just don't
Yep.
know what to expect. I mean,
Yeah,
so
for
yeah,
sure.
it seems like
Yeah.
a great fit. I mean, Erin's been
Mhm.
She's a lot of fun to watch. One thing I love about Erin, I don't know if you all notice this, I mean, but she's just really matter of fact and doesn't take shit from the refs. There was a game where there was a home game last year, and I think I watched basically all of the games because Matt was broadcasting it, so I was doing like tweets all the time.
Mhm.
And I remember that the referee just wasn't really making a call. And
Mhm.
Erin, there was someone who was injured from the other team, and Erin said, either they're injured or they're not. And just
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she definitely says it how it is, but I'd rather have that than someone that lies to my
well,
face.
and
So
no, every time I've seen her do it, she's really just explaining that what actually had happened. I mean, there was another time where she said, "Look, you have to take the clock back because the time wasn't. Here you go, start the clock."
yeah,
And she's got it.
it's
Look,
like,
she
and then she just like shakes her head. She's like, ugh.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, it's she expects, she is a high standard. She's a good,
yeah.
and I will say, I know Erin Chastain, if she watches this, I have to give a shout out to her for another striker she's coached in addition to you, which is Morgan Turner, because Morgan Turner's on fire. She scored a golazo
That
yesterday.
thing, yeah, I saw that.
Crazy goal, and she had a hat trick the game before. So Erin Chastain, good work out in DePaul. You did good with Morgan Turner. Yeah, absolutely. So talk about, like we said, Erin came in late last year in terms of like the prep, in terms of having a spring with you guys. So and the team did well. I mean, you were very competitive. I mean, dropped probably a few results where you could have had something better, but for a first year coach, really fun to watch. A lot of success last year. So just how much do you maybe have raised expectations knowing that you've had a full spring with Aaron, you have new additions? Like, how does it raise your expectations for this season?
I mean, we for sure have way higher expectations for this year just because we are literally getting our entire team back, plus only 4 new freshmen, which are good additions to our team as well. But I think that we're coming out for it this year, and I think that we're going to be really, really good. So just because we have the same team, we have all of our fifth years back almost. So
Mhm.
I think that we're all going to bring it this year, and our team's going to be on the top of their game all the time because we really want it this year.
Yeah, I think only maybe Patricia Ward, she's
Mhm.
finishing her last year somewhere else, and then is maybe one other senior leaving, because yeah, it's a
No,
lot of
it's
people back.
yeah, because
Yeah.
Mick didn't play last year because she tore her ACL, but she's been starting to do a little bit of contact stuff, so that's exciting for her. And then we have Kenna, Meg, and I think there's one more. I can't remember.
Delaney. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, of course. Yes, Laney.
Yeah,
But
I was. I've looked over a lot of different team rosters in the last few days, but I was just peeking at it, so I
yeah,
remember. Look, so now Khyah, you have a lot of. There's a couple things we got to get clarity on. You have a lot of different recognitions you got in high school and in academy soccer. I always want to know what people get when they win these type of awards. I got to ask you about a
yeah.
couple of these and ask if you got anything for it. And then I got to ask you about, well, I'm going to start it off by asking something listed on the Gopher website. I could not Google my way to this to find out what tournament this was or what it was about. It says that you were on the 2019 World Cup U17 Girls Puma Trophy team. Explain those words all in a row to me.
So it's like the World Youth Cup. It's
Uh-huh.
in Sweden. It's called the Gothia Cup.
Okay.
I am not sure if you get invited or if you just go to it, but we put a team together when I was with MTA,
Uh-huh.
and we ended up winning the whole thing. So we were like World Youth Cup champions, which is kind of sick, but yeah, that's kind of what it was.
Where were the teams you played? Where were they from?
Oh, it was everywhere. We played in Sweden. So there's like, I think we played Sweden, we played Japan, we played
Mhm.
Canada, we played just teams from all over. Like it was actually really
Yeah.
cool, and like we stayed in like this school, so you got
Yeah.
to like everyone that was. It was like a huge school,
Like
and
dormitories or something?
yeah, it was like a huge square, but like we all like had to sleep in like a classroom. So like there's like
Oh,
a lot. Yeah, it was kind of like bad, but it was like good for the like experience. But
yeah, it's fun.
yeah, but
That's
to
cool.
me, we met like a lot of people. Like it was so much fun, and I would definitely do it again. But yeah,
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I mean, very cool to play teams from other countries. I mean, just to see the style. I mean, to play like a youth team from Japan, there would be a big contrast with the team from
yes. Well,
Minnesota.
yeah, even playing Japan, like our style of play was so different. Like obviously Minnesota soccer and US soccer in general is just more physical and more like
Yeah.
faster. I feel like where like Japan was just they're so technical that like it was like playing boys soccer. Like you can't press them because they'll just beat you with a pass. So it's
Uh-huh.
just, like it was so different, but
Yeah.
it was also like really interesting to play against. Just seeing like the different styles and stuff.
Yeah, cool. And just to get to go to another country like that, really
Yeah.
cool experience. Yeah. What and then so at MTA, a couple different time, like a couple of things listed as like that you were an ECNL, which is the premier academy league of All American. You're All Midwest. The ECNL give you anything? Do you get like a trophy? You get a ring for that?
Yeah, I have a lot of like the plaques. They give you like a huge plaque, and then I just get like a sort of like a paper. But I
Okay.
just hang up the plaque, and I just put I just put them like in like a folder, and then I just put them in my room.
Yeah. I mean, look, we just won a champion. I think I forget who it was. I talked to one player, I think, who said they got like a jacket out of one of these things, and that's what we want. Like for Gatorade Player of the Year, do you even just get some Gatorade? What do what do you
Yeah,
get for that?
yeah, I got like a water bottle. I got like a whole bunch of the Gatorade, like the ones where
Squeeze bottles.
smash it on, yeah, the pods where like you smash it on top. I
Okay.
got a towel, and then I got like this trophy that's like this big. It says Gator there. I got a plaque. I got like a
Mhm.
piece of paper. So it's not like that much gear, I guess. But
Right.
for I think the most gear that I got was from the All American for high school.
Yeah. For like
I
top drawer or something, or what was that? Who did that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure who it was, but I got like a lot of gear. I got like 2 shirts, shorts, like socks, obviously because we had to play. But then I got like a sweatshirt, like a quarter zip, a
Yeah.
water bottle, a hat. Like that was the most gear for sure. But I also think it was like the first year that they ever
Yeah.
did like that. So, but
This is
yeah,
what I'm talking
you
about. Yeah.
do
People,
get some
you,
stuff. Mostly just like plaques or trophies, but still, honorable.
I will say one thing about when you with trophies is randomly for a few years it was the only gifts Matt and I would buy our family. It was we would make them like from order a trophy, and then once you know what they cost, and then you see when someone gets a trophy and you kind of know, and you're like like oh that. But I think the WPSL looks like there's a decent piece of silverware for you to win out there. So yeah, but glad to know the All American game got you some goods.
Yeah, sure.
Talk about I saw a random thing on the Gopher soccer website. I have to ask. It said you had a cousin in the NHL and he happens to play in Colorado, right?
Yeah, well, he just signed overseas to Germany actually, but he did
Uh,
play for the Avs. Yeah, he's a goalie, but yeah, it's still pretty sick. And now, like my sister, she's dating Ben Myers, if you know who that is.
I don't know about hockey. No.
Oh, so he just signed with the Avs too. He played hockey at the Gopher, so I
Nice.
yeah, so that's kind of exciting too. So we have a lot of like people in Colorado, and I have like a old middle school teacher there that I'm trying to get in touch with. But
Uh,
yeah, it's super fun.
I love that. That's a cool connection into the hockey world. And I mean, yeah, your little brothers must be psyched when they got trying to
Oh
get
yeah.
in with the NHL player.
Mhm.
Well, awesome. The last thing I just want to say, I mean, what are your goals for in terms of, I mean, Salvo going forward? Obviously, you're looking to potentially get, a playoff run here going. I mean, do you talk about at the start of this the goal being winning the whole thing? How do you, or just approach it? We want to win the first game. What is Salvo's goal for the WPSL playoffs, Khyah?
I think we want to win both games this weekend, but I think since like everybody's report day is so early that I don't think we would be able to make the nationals,
Right.
which sucks. But just because like even for the Gophers, ours is August 1st, so we wouldn't even be able to go to it or like
Mm,
whatever. But and like all the people who are out of state obviously go to college earlier, other than the report day.
right.
But I think we're just kind of focusing on this weekend, just seeing how far we can get this weekend, and then obviously in the future we'll see what happens. But most likely we're gonna end at this weekend, but hopefully on a high note.
Awesome. All right. Well, Kai, I appreciate you joining us. Really excited to see, all of Salvo's success this year, and excited to see what it means in the fall for you with the Gophers. Hoping to make a run in the Big Ten. And, I think if you win the Big Ten, maybe you get a ring. Let's get you a ring for the
Yeah,
Big Ten.
ring, a T-shirt, a hat. So yeah.
Well, if I think it's safe to say if the Gophers win the Big Ten, Matt will probably be so pumped up that he'll take some of the equal time dollars and maybe get some. We might have to make sure there's merch going on.
Yeah.
He'd be pumped. So awesome. Thank you so much, Khyah. Good luck in the games this weekend and good luck with that altitude.
All right. Thank you.